Okay, I found this game on archive.org. They have a bunch of these game books, which were trying to put some kind of gaming aspect into Choose Your Own Adventure. And I played a few of them back in the day. These were popular in the mid-90s. I was looking for some Marvel ones that I thought would be fun to do, but stumbled across this one. And this is by J.H. Brennan. Apparently he wrote some other stuff that people like. Quest something, I don't know. Anyway, I read a review of this on some wiki about different games, and the notes from the keeper of the site, the mod, basically said that J.H. Brennan later admitted that he didn't play through any of these games that he wrote, so the playability's not great in them. Apparently the combat's really brutal, and you have to make a map. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that, but I just thought I might play through this a little bit and see what we think of it and how quickly I die. So, yeah, I love this Christopher Lee cover art here. This painting is great. Okay. So I have tabs here. Dare you brave the Vampire Keep? A grim, dark castle rises from the forest depths of distant Transylvania. Within its walls there works the world's most feared and famous monster, Count Dracula, soldier, aristocrat, and vampire. Years passed. Bram Stoker wrote the book which introduced Count Dracula to a fearful world. Today, with no more than a set of dice and the paperback you hold, you can enter the ancient fortress whose stones have seen such terror. But only your skills, luck, and good judgment can bring you out alive. Dracula's Castle is a very special horror classic game book using an ingenious new game system which allows you to play the fearless vampire hunter, Jonathan Harker, or to take the role of the vampire count himself. This means you literally buy 2 adventures for the price of 1. Each one separate and distinct, but both set in Dracula's Castle, and both featuring characters from Bram Stoker's famous horror novel. Look out for the companion horror classic game book, The Curse of Frankenstein, on sale at your favorite bookshop now. I found that too, so if this is fun, we might do another video with the Frankenstein one. Oh, Grail Quest, that's what it was. 8 titles in the Grail Quest solo fantasy gamebook series. And apparently he has kind of a goofy sense of humor that he injects into them. I don't know how much I like comedy injected into my horror role-playing, but we'll see. Okay. Illustrations by Tim Sell from Armada Publishing. This was originally published in the UK in 1986. Transylvania. Distantly, a wolf howls. Instantly, as if in answer, a flash briefly illuminates the gloomy forest. Then, with a thunder crack, the scene is plunged abruptly back into darkness. A deserted roadway twists through the forest like a saber scar on the face of a giant, winding sinuous as a snake crawling to perdition. Wow. Rain lashes this fragile ribbon, hissing in torrents through the leaves and bending the trees before a vicious wind which screams and moans like a tortured soul. Another sound, like the memory of thunder, but a rumbling drawing nearer, gradually resolving into the clatter of hooves, the rattle of harness, the hard onrush of metal-bound wheels. It's evocative. The crack of a whip, the snort of great horses. A black coach careers into view, rolling like a ship at sea. The mouths of the horses foam, their eyes wild with terror. The coachman, cape billowing, is a huge man, broad-shouldered, capable, experienced, with strong hands. Yet even he looks frightened. The roadway climbs, and in climbing leaves the forest to emerge into a desolate, rain-swept wilderness where stark rock outcrops blink into hideous shapes at every lightning flash. Okay, I'm actually enjoying this prose. "Yah!" calls the coachman, but the great horses need little encouragement, for they gallop as if the devil himself was on their heels. The road continues to wind upwards, and now the lightning picks out its destination, a mournful, shadowy castle crouching bleakly on the skyline, guarded by massive iron gates. Soon the black coach and its wild-eyed horses will be there, This is Transylvania, a remote, almost primitive corner of Eastern Europe where travelers seldom visit and those who do seldom return unchanged. This is Transylvania, a land of forests and isolated villages ruled by a social system that dates back, almost without change, to the days of feudal lords. This is Transylvania, where the superstitious cross themselves at night and string garlic cloves above the tightly bolted windows to drive off ancient nightmares long forgotten in more civilized climes. Within the black coach sits a solitary figure, face lost in the shadow of a heavy cape, except for darkly brooding eyes which seem at times almost to glow redly with a feral light. As the black coach plunges onwards through the raging storm towards its horrid destination, the solitary figure remains immobile as a stone. Who is this person prepared so calmly to brave the night and face the horrors of that Gothic keep? Who sits within the death coach as it races hellbent to the great gates of Castle Dracula? Who indeed but you? Alright, so that's fun, man. You know? Having fun with that. Alright, we're going to read through the adventure system here a little bit. Again, I read that review, like I said, that says it's a little clunky. Particularly the fact that you have to map everything out. I don't know how I'm going to map on here. I don't know if I'm going to get some kind of MS Paint or something on Google and draw a crude. I don't know. The adventure system. This is a game book. You don't just read it, you play it. You'll need a couple of dice, paper and pencil. A pocket calculator could be useful, but it's not essential. You'll also need life points, which are your measure of survival in the adventure and without which you're dead. You begin your adventure with 100 life points. All right. Well, life points. 100. Character statistics. The hero you create for this adventure will have the following characteristics: speed, courage, strength, skill, psi. The first four explain themselves. The last one, psi, is the measure of your character's wild talents. That is, his or her ability to do weird things like reading minds, seeing into the future, or zapping people by thought alone. To calculate your character statistics, stats for short, throw one dice against each attribute and note the result. A score of 3 is average. Anything above it is good. Too many stats below 3 could mean trouble. Okay, so I guess I'm doing this now. Courage, strength, skill, psi. So do I do this now? To calculate your character stats, throw one die against each attribute. Okay, so let's refresh this. 3. Okay, speed of 3. Hey, just like the real me. Oh shit. Fuck me. Oh my god. Oh, oops, I took that away. Oh my god, I'm so hosed. Strength and skill, I'm a freaking invalid. Holy crikeys. Okay. Combat. There are times when you will have to fight for your life. Combat follows this sequence. 1. Throw one dice. They don't know the singular, huh? Throw one dice on behalf of your opponent and one on your own behalf. Add speed and courage figures to each. Highest score hits first. If both scores come out the same, roll again. Throw one dice on behalf of your opponent and yourself. Add speed and courage to each of your own speed and courage. So at least I have a courage of 6. To attempt to hit, throw both dice. If you score below 6, you miss. Score 6 or more and you hit. In the adventure, you'll have to throw dice on behalf of your opponent as well, and the same rules apply. I'll never remember this. To calculate damage after a hit, add your strength and skill figures. Fuck. To your dice score, then subtract the result from your opponent's life points. Your opponent scores damage against you in the same way. Should your life points be reduced to 0 or less, your character is dead. I can't fight. Flight. Sometimes it makes more sense to run than to fight. E.g., when your opponent is particularly tough or when you are extremely low on life points. To exercise a run option, you must first roll 2 dice. Score 9 through 12, and you may safely run to any of the exit sections shown in your current location. Score 5 through 8, and you may still run, but you can only run back to the section you were in before you entered your present location. Furthermore, your opponent gets 1 free strike at you as you retreat, and will score double the dice damage shown since your back is turned. Therefore, it is even more important to note where you have been. Score 2 through 4 and your opponent cuts off your retreat, which means you can't run at all. Furthermore, your opponent will automatically gain the first strike and score double damage on that strike only since you were so unprepared for a fight. Note, in sections where there are no immediate exit sections listed, you must return to the last previous section you visited if your attempt to run is successful. Running may only be attempted before combat is engaged, not halfway through a fight. Healing. If you've lost a few life points in a fight, don't worry too much. You'll heal up naturally at the rate of 3 life points for every new section you enter. If you've lost a lot of life points, you'll probably have to try medicine, which is sometimes risky, or natural healing, which is always risky. Medicine. You may find medicines during the course of your adventure. If you do, instructions for use will be on the bottle, just below the skull and crossbones. Natural healing. To engage in natural healing, you throw 2 dice. Above 6, the score is added to your current life points. Scores of 6 or below are taken away from your current life points. If you think about this, you'll realize a bad run of natural healing can kill you. Neither medicine nor natural healing may be used during a fight. However, successfully you heal up, your life points can never rise above 100. Psi. Psi is even trickier than healing. You roll your Psi abilities at the start of your adventure. Every time you use Psi, you use up 1 point of your Psi statistic. After that, you may continue to use your Psi talents, but at the fearsome cost of 20 life points per use. Money. You may need equipment on your adventure, such as a pistol, maybe, or food or rope. If so, you'll have to buy it, and to buy it, you will, of course, need money. You can provide your character with money right now by rolling 2 dice and multiplying the result by 4. This is the amount of money your character has starting out the adventure. And here's the nice bit, the sum you've just rolled is in gold sovereigns. Since you've probably wasted your entire life running a metric money, you should know that there are 20 silver shillings in a golden sovereign, 12 copper pennies in a silver shilling. This means that there are 240 copper pennies in a golden sovereign. It might even be worth knowing that there is 1 golden sovereign and 1 silver shilling in a golden guinea. Although, to be honest, golden guineas aren't used much anymore, not even in adventures. Rolling 2 dice and multiplying by 4. Oh crap. Okay. We'll do it. Let's do that again like this. There. Oh! 3 times 4. Man. Right? 4 golden sovereigns. Ay vey. Playing the game. If you are already familiar with solo adventure gamebooks, you will know that playing them involves moving through various numbered sections. This gamebook is no exception, but there are some very important differences from the way gamebooks are usually played. To begin with, there are 2 different types of section: location sections and action sections. In the layout of the present book, all location sections are grouped together at the beginning and clearly labeled as to what they are, while all action sections are grouped together to form the main body of the book. You can tell at once whether you are looking at a location section or an action section by glancing at the head of the page on which it is printed. There, along with the relevant section numbers, you will find either the word loc for location or act for action. During your adventure, the tracking instructions at the end of a section will normally refer you to an action section, but each action section, when you reach it, will carry a location section reference. This means I might be too dumb. This means that you should turn to the location section shown in order to find a complete description of the environment in which the action is taking place, usually a room in Castle Dracula. Then return to the action section and continue reading. Location sections, this is going to be hard with PNGs of the pages. Location sections are complete in themselves and do not track anywhere, so when you turn to one of them, it is your responsibility to keep a mental note of your place in the action sections. As you actually play the game, you will find you need to consult the location descriptions less and less, since you will become increasingly familiar, painfully familiar with the rooms of the castle. Action descriptions are headed with the name of the relevant location, so that you will always know instantly where you are. All this sounds a great deal more complicated than it really is. Once you begin your adventure, you will quickly get the hang of the new system, and after a section or two, you will be using it quite automatically. By means of this technique, which has been exclusively developed for the Horror Classic Gamebook series, a more varied and interesting adventure may be compressed into the available space. This has allowed a unique twin adventure format for the present book, giving you the freedom to play either of two very different characters, Dracula, the dreaded vampire count, and Harker, the dedicated vampire hunter. I think I'm going to be Harker. Secret passages, doors, and chambers. Dracula's castle is known to have a number of secret passages, hidden doors, and unknown chambers concealed within its gloomy walls. And since the castle was built some centuries before Dracula was born, not all of these are known even to the Count himself. Wherever and whoever you happen to be during the adventure, you may check once per section for secret doors, etc., by throwing 2 dice and modifying your score in accordance with the special instructions you will receive when you select your character. A modified score of 10, 11, or 12 permits you to consult the Secrets section at the back of the book, where you may find information of use. Note that you will not be prompted to roll for secrets in the course of your adventure. It is entirely up to you to remember. Always make a careful note of the section you are leaving when you find a secret door or passage. While some destinations will track to a different section, others require you to return whence you came, so a note of your section number becomes vitally important. Check for secret passages. Oops, typo king. You may check once per section for secret doors by throwing 2 dice and modifying based on your character. At the gates of Castle Dracula. The coachman fights to regain control as the great horses rear up, screaming their refusal to approach closer to the looming iron gates of Castle Dracula. The black coach sways and teeters, threatening to capsize, but the driver fights the horses successfully so that it rumbles to a safe halt no more than 20 feet from those terrifying gates. Another flash of lightning illuminates the dismal castle beyond, a darkling collection of towers and turrets looming with a sinister elegance against the skyline. "We're here, good sir," the coachman calls, his words half drowning in a clap of thunder. The horses move uneasily as the handle of the coach door slowly turns. The door opens, and a figure emerges, cloaked against the driving rain, face barely discernible. The horses tremble. The passenger pauses, then looks up towards the coachman, who blanches visibly, but a low, attractive voice merely says politely, "My luggage, please, coachman." "Indeed," replies the coachman, clumsy in his hurry to be rid of you. He swings the bags down, taking care to approach no closer to the gates than need be. Nice. Thank you. You fumble in your pocket You fumble in a pocket of your cape and produce a single silver coin, which he accepts gratefully, then climbs back to his perch atop the coach. The horses, sensing freedom from this accursed place, begin to wheel the vehicle round of their own accord. Shall you be needing me again? The coachman asks, greed fighting down his terror for the moment. You shrug calmly. Perhaps. Who can answer such a question? This is Castle Dracula, where only the mysterious is commonplace. Tomorrow you might need the coachman, or lie doomed for all eternity within a cold, dank crypt. The anxious horses begin to draw the coach forward only inches at a time. The momentum gives the man courage to ask suddenly, "Who are you, sir? I've driven many a passenger to many a place, but I've never met one quite so disturbing as you. Who are you, sir? Tell me that one thing, for the love of God!" Who are you? The time has come for you to make up your mind. In this grim tale of terror, you may be one of two people. The first is Jonathan Harker, an adventurer of renown. The second is Count Dracula, a vampire. Which one you choose to be will determine the course of your adventure from now on, so think carefully as you stand before the gates of Castle Dracula. If you are Jonathan Harker, turn to Act 2, i.e. Action Section 2. If you are Count Dracula, turn to Act 1, Action Section 1. Alright, I'm clearly going to have to actually take notes, which I didn't want to have to do. Okay. So we're going to Act 2. Yep, up. Wait. Yeah. Okay. Castle Gates, Location 1. You reach out a well-manicured hand and push. The great wrought iron gates of Castle Dracula swing open in an eerie silence broken only by a distant wolf's howl. The pathway before you, leading northwards, will take you to the hellish mansion and the monster who is its ancient master. You hesitate, but from a natural caution, not from fear. You are Jonathan Harker, known to the world as a humble solicitor's clerk from London, and here, in Transylvania, ostensibly on business for your firm. But beneath this carefully maintained facade, there works a grimmer truth. For soft-spoken Harker is a secret student of occult lore, an individual who delves deeply into the mystic storehouse of arcane knowledge. And from that source you have unearthed the dreadful secret of this dark castle. You, and you alone, know that the creature who has been lord and master here for generations is actually the foulest denizen, that's not spelled right, denizen, of nature's night side, a vampire of such power, such concentrated evil, that the very fabric of civilization might rip apart if he were ever to leave his ancient domain. Yet leave he will, and soon. Your firm actually dispatched you to arrange the purchase of a house in London on the Count's behalf. At that time you had no knowledge of his evil nature, of course, but as you traveled with the deeds through Transylvania, persistent rumors came to your ears, rumors of sheep killed and drained of blood, cattle slaughtered and left empty husks. And darker rumors still of men and women growing pale and dying with strange puncture marks near their jugular veins. It could add up to only one thing, a vampire abroad. And as your journey carried you closer to Castle Dracula, the evidence grew overwhelming. The vampire was none other than your prospective client, Count Dracula himself. The same Count Dracula who is even now planning to leave his native Transylvania for the more densely populated feeding grounds of London. Only you can stop him, for only you know the hideous truth, and only you have the knowledge to face such a one as this in mortal combat. Before deciding on your next move, there are certain things you must know about Jonathan Harker. These you will discover at Act 4. Still at the castle gates. As Jonathan Harker, your occult studies have permitted you to develop the following psi abilities: beatification, sanctuary, and stake driving. Thank God for C. Beatification is the ability to bless yourself or any weapon you may be using for the duration of a given combat. This blessing gives you an additional 5 points of damage against your opponent on each successful strike. Should I write this down? Beatification, Sanctuary, and Stake Driving. Okay, Sanctuary, which lasts for a single combat situation, casts such a strong religious aura around you that any damage scored against you is automatically reduced by 5 points. Wow. Stake driving is by far your most important side attribute, since it is the only way to kill a vampire totally. To use this ability, you must first expend 1 psi point, or the equivalent in life points. Then score a natural 6 or 12. What's a natural 6? Then score a natural 6 or 12 on your next combat throw. A successful score of 6 or 12 will utterly and instantly destroy a vampire, but will have no particular effect on anything else. If, however, you fail to score 6 or 12 immediately, the psi energy or life points invested will be gone. Secret doors. Your keen powers of observation permit you to add 1 to any check roll you may make for secret doors, inside or outside the castle. If your roll succeeds, you may then consult the secrets table on page 199. Yeah. Yeah. Now turn to Act 6 to begin your adventure. Castle Gates, Location 1. Mentally, you check your possessions. Your overnight case carries the bare necessities of civilized existence. A face flannel? That was like a washcloth. This is British. A face flannel, toothbrush, quill and paper for the keeping of your journal, and a signed copy of a curious work entitled Grail Quest, the Castle of Darkness, which you plan to read during those intervals when your present task permits. All else has gone. Your spare clothing, your weapons, your vials of holy water, your wreath of garlic flowers, your crucifix, your collection of hand-carved stakes, all lost with the remainder of your luggage, when brigands attacked the coach on the Austrian border. No matter. You have your knowledge and your psi powers and a grim determination to survive. At least long enough to rid the world of the ancient foulness that is Count Dracula. You will explore bravely, fight fiercely with anything that comes to hand, and you will triumph. Briskly, you move to meet your destiny. So I was getting ready to write down my inventory, and I realized it's basically saying you have nothing. Toothbrush, washcloth, quill, and paper. But, if one may ask, in which direction? Northwards lies the driveway to the castle at Act 10. South and west are both blocked by forest and impenetrable undergrowth, while southeast at Act 16 takes you back along the road which you came. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a moment and really think about it. Okay, so if I want to go north, I go to Act 10. South and west are unapproachable. Southeast Takes you back on the road which you came. Let's go read about location 1. You stand beside the high, wrought iron gates of Castle Dracula. To the north, a rutted driveway leads to the great grey stone keep on the high ground. Around you, in all other directions, stretch the vast pine forests of Transylvania, cut by a few narrow roads and winding paths, and home to the fiercest wolf packs of Eastern Europe. Okay. Well, then there's wolves. So, I guess I'll approach the castle, which is Act 10. Castle Driveway. Location 2. There is, however, a pathway leading through the trees eastwards, which you may take if you wish by turning to Act 18. Or you may continue towards the castle. Okay. So let's read location 2. Definitely a lot of flipping around. The driveway from the main gates to the cobbled courtyard of Castle Dracula is rutted and in poor repair, as if it has not been used for generations. On each side loom tall and ancient, tightly planted yew trees, which effectively conceal what nightmare landscapes may lie to the east or west. Okay, let's just go right to the castle. Now, as you approach closer to the looming castle, you can see 2 narrow roads leading off the driveway, westwards to the left, eastwards to the right. Wow, they're giving you a lot of side quests or whatever here. Turning west will take you to 12, east to 20, north to the castle, 24. Castle Courtyard, location 10. But before you decide where to go next, you will assuredly have to do something about that jet-black equine creature even now galloping towards you, nostrils flared, hooves sparkling, eyes ablaze with hate. Did I miss something? This creature is of course a nightmare, and singularly dangerous it may prove, my dear Harker. The nightmare has 40 life points and the following stats. Speed 6, Courage 4, Strength 6, Skill 3, Size 0. Worse still, it scores +2 on any damage by reason of its steel-hard hooves. If this dread creature kills you, and it will certainly do its best, go to Act 14. Should you survive, turn to Act 38. Okay, so we're on page 54 of my... So 40 life points to my 100. Alright, let's just start with a run. I got a 9. I can run to any exit of my current location. Well, I'm in the courtyard. Wait. Oh, there it is. A narrow, cobbled courtyard sweeps east and west, dominated by the looming bulk of the great castle to the north. To the east, steps lead downwards into an extensive sunken garden. South, the driveway winds back to the main Tess. Northwest is an archway leading to a smaller enclosed cobbled yard, while west lies stone-built, whitewashed outbuildings. So I can run to any of these? Okay, if I can go to the garden, I'm gonna go to the garden. So... Oh, I survived because I ran, right? So I go to Act 38. Castle courtyard. The creature was no natural horse. Even now, the black body is a writhing, melting chaos, draining swiftly. Well, I didn't kill it, I ran. As you watch, a glint on the ground catches your eye. Can you not run from... As you watch, a glint on the ground catches your eye. You investigate and discover a copper-plated key, highly polished tines set into a polished wooden haft. You drop the key into your pocket and look around, deciding on your next move. A move which involves a choice from the following options. You might, if your courage does not desert you, move north to the castle itself at Act 56. Or descend the steps eastward. That's what I wanted to do, right? Go in the Sunken Guard. Act 62. Buildings to the west may be investigated. Or go through that archway. Okay, I'm going to go east. That's 62. Sunken Garden, location 12. Although it seems unlikely there will be much to interest you here, you step forward to make a cursory examination and find yourself sinking. This is quicksand for sure. Holy God, even in Transylvania. And obviously one of the many traps within which the Dread Count seeks to protect his property. Throw one die against your strength stat and another separately against your skill. Those are both ones. If your score in each case is lower than the appropriate stat... Wait, what? Throw one die against your strength and one against your skill. If your score in each case is lower than the appropriate stat, then turn to Act 86 if both scores are higher than the stat. Okay, so... Alright, so this one, let's throw for... we get skill. It's higher. Let's throw against... that's supposed to be strength. Sorry, throwing against strength. Now we're throwing against skill. If both scores are higher... If one score is higher and the other lower, throw again. This doesn't cover the fact that I matched it. But, okay. Let's do this again. So, we'll refresh. Keep this shit clean. Okay. Throwing for strength. Higher. Throwing for skill. Higher. Take a deep breath and go to Act 14. So I died. Never mind the golden pavements and the harp music. You have a job to do. Jonathan Harker would never hang around enjoying himself up here while the dreaded Count still lived. You must go at once to the Reincarnation Center, pick up 100 new life points, re-roll your stats, then beam down to Act 6 where you can start again. The only bad news is that any nasty you may previously have met and vanquished will have reincarnated too by now. Well, okay, I died. That's that. I'm probably gonna try again. I just wanted to do one playthrough and see how quickly I died. I thought I'd at least get into the building. Did not expect quicksand in Transylvania. So, okay. Yeah, I'm just posting this for Star Gods and pack members. Just as a kind of a Halloween. Just get excited for Halloween. Thought this would be kind of fun. I was going to do it with a Doctor Strange or a Spider-Man book originally, but I found this. And I thought, hey, this is Halloween-y. So, just want to see if it's interesting at all. The game's kind of cool. Again, I don't have a lot of experience with role-playing games, so all the rules and stuff always feel overwhelming to me, but it's just because I'm not very good at this, I guess. And I have a hard time keeping all the little stuff straight. Yeah, I'll come back and do another round. Hopefully I can get into the castle, and I will figure out how I can draw, see if there's some kind of, I'm sure some mapping thingy online for games where you can just kind of add, like grid paper, but virtually. So, I don't know, I get the impression, the review I read of this said that you really need to map everything out because you have to return to sites and come back and do things or whatever. So like you actually have to keep, you have to have a sense of where you are and the locations and how to get from one place to the other, which is weird when you're being guided by text, but I believe them. Okay, thanks for checking it out if you did. And let me know if it's something you'd like to see more of, if I can actually get good enough to, again, enter Castle Dracula. I wouldn't mind facing an actual monster. And there wasn't even any combat. I ran away, and then I ran into a sunken garden and went into quicksand. So quite a noble hero. All right. Thanks for checking it out. See you guys later.